Some changes to the ways school districts can punish or discipline students for acting up. The State Board of Regents unanimously passed new regulations this week that prohibit teachers from restraining students face down or isolating them in rooms that they can't leave. Corporal punishment has also been officially banned from all schools, something that you may be surprised to know wasn't formally banned until now. These changes go into effect next month, just in time for the upcoming school year. And joining us live right now to talk about this is Michael Cornell, Superintendent of Schools for the Hamburg Central School District. And sir, we appreciate you coming back on the show. It's good to see you again. I know that you read through what is included with these changes from the Board of Regents. We'll get into what happens, next for you as a district. But first, do you think it was necessary for the board to really kind of make these changes, make them official at least?
Yeah, I think there's three things that I kind of jumped to my mind when I saw it. First, this regulation change is largely a matter of the regulations better reflecting what's currently happening in the region's schools. It's not response to some widespread use of prone restraints or seclusion of students, because those things are rarely, if ever, used. It's really not about disciplining students per se, but it's really about the ways in which schools and school employees work to de-escalate situations when a student's having a significant behavioral issue. The current reality is that the region's schools use very sophisticated methods of de-escalation when these things happen, and they're practiced by highly trained and incredibly caring educators when it happens. So, was it necessary? It's not for me to say whether or not the State Education Department's actions were necessary. My role is to understand what they've done and understand why and how it impacts the region schools and our schools in Hamburg.
You mentioned to us earlier today that you're still awaiting formal guidance from the board on how districts should implement these changes, perhaps, training for staff, that sort of thing. How does that process work, though, anytime something is handed down to the districts by the state?
Yeah, so what the State Education Department will do based on the Board of Regents' actions is they'll set forth a set of principles in a guidance document that we'll take a look at, and then we'll implement. And like I said, a lot of it is the regulation and the guidance document catching up to what's already been done in schools. Rarely, if ever, does an educator put a child in a prone position face down. I can't even think of a time when a school employee in Hamburg or anywhere else put a child unsupervised in a room by him or herself. And I think what folks need to understand is when a child experiences a significant behavioral challenge like this regulation addresses, it's a team of educators, one or two people. They've been trained in either CPI or TCI, which is a sophisticated de-escalation strategy. We want to always make sure that we preserve the dignity of the child, and it's always about the safety of the child. We always want to make sure that we can do that without the audience of the rest of the class. And many times, rather than take a child and put that child in a room by him or herself with a caring adult, we often will take the rest of the class and remove them from the room and deal with the child and de-escalate the situation right there in that classroom. And then move to either a counselor's office or some other place and call the parent and kind of work through what's happening. So, I certainly wouldn't want anybody to think that this regulation is a response to the widespread use of restraints where the child is face down, or any use of isolations room where we just put the kid in a room where he or she can't get out. We're not allowed to have rooms like that where the room even locks from the outside. And as you rightly stated, corporal punishment was outlawed in 1985. And I can't, think of a time. I've been in this business for 30 years. I can't remember a time where I even heard of corporal punishment being used in a public school anywhere in Western New York since that time.
Great insight on this as we're all kind of just reading the headline here of these changes. We really appreciate taking the time. Michael Cornell, Superintendent of Schools for Hamburg Central. Thanks, sir. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks.